We are recording. Hello and welcome to the Avanti Entrepreneur Show. I am Dave Bomano, your host, and this is the show for people that want to learn and grow and be inspired by who I think are some of the countries, maybe the world's like just coolest, most innovative, fun entrepreneurs. And oh, by the way, in this case, down to earth. Today I'm on the show, Lance Cummins. Lance, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, David. I'm excited to talk with you today. It's going to be good.
Very excited to have you here. You're from a company called Anyvoo. Anyvoo, kind of just like it sounds. Did you make up that word?
My daughter did, Ellie. She's the namer in our family.
I love it. So how does she think of the name, Anyvoo?
I'll have to ask her, but I remember at one point we were just saying, we know there's certain sounds that we want. And then we just brainstormed a bunch of stuff and you go look for a domain name. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Well, that's how Amazon.com started, right? I mean, but although you made up a word. I come from Rochester, New York, and George Eastman made up the word Kodak. It means nothing. His favorite letter was K because his mother's name started with a K. And, at probably at least 100 years, it was the world's most iconic brand, right? Like, I'd go hiking in the hills of Sicily and I'd see a little tiny store that had the Kodak logo. I'm like, oh my God, think about doing that 100 years ago, right? So
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Yep. So Anyvoo, and I always, we're going to talk about what you do, which is if you're watching this, you can see our backgrounds, right? And so it makes us look really official, but it's really just kind of this cool cloth that Lance and his team have designed, and we're going to get into that. But I almost thought it was like Anyview and like a play on Any View, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking that, right?
Well, we said, obviously we like to have something in there that sort of hints at view, but we wanted something a little more playful. So you end up with the VOO thing. I also wanted something like you just said a minute ago that you spell it like it sounds, because that's one of the biggest challenges when you say a domain name. And ironically, I've discovered that people still struggle with it because they don't know if I'm saying any boo or view.
Or view,
and so apparently I didn't succeed with that. So, oh well.
Or I have a friend that says, when she's done talking, she says, anywho,
There you go.
And,
maybe we should do that.
But Anyvoo. So you are a small business entrepreneur like the rest of us usually listen to this. And your family is involved, right? Anybody goes to the anyvoo.com, you could see Lance's family having fun, working on the product, answering the chat, whatever it takes. So I know you have two companies we're going to talk about, but the first company we're going to talk about is this one, anyvoo.com. And I have the product. Once again, if you're watching this in our Avanti Entrepreneur TV YouTube channel, I'm using one of his backgrounds. And Lance has a great one too that looks like real wood. I mean, I would really think you're at a wood wall right now. It looks very real. But tell us about Anyvoo. How did it start and what do you guys do?
Yeah, great question. So, and I'll introduce the other company because it's a part of this story. So my digital marketing company that I started was Nectify, another made up word.
Yeah. Nice.
And we've done video calls remotely for like 7 years. So my team was always talking to people on video, and I really wanted a branded, consistent experience anytime a customer interacted with our team. So I tried 100 different things, hundreds in exaggeration. I tried a dozen things, and everything kind of worked, but not really. And so I said, I want to try to figure out something that would work perfectly for the remote worker that needs to look good on camera, but they're typically in like a second space where they're going to need to take this thing down fairly quickly, often, get it out of the way, and make it easy to kind of in and out. So I started like figuring out some stuff. I learned CAD. I learned how to 3D print all of our first parts. I learned how to sew. I bought some industrial machines. I learned about aluminum alloys. I mean, all kinds of goofy stuff because I just wanted to learn and solve the problem for our team. And then thought, well, maybe this is something that other people might be interested in as well. So that's sort of how we got going.
Very cool. Very cool. So for those of you that are, most people listen to a podcast on audio. And so we'll try to explain it to them. So you invented this product like pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
And now that, people are working remotely, they're getting judged on their backgrounds, right? Like, oh, how,
It's true.
what is this? What is it? They're a mess. Look how messy their house is. Or, oh, I didn't realize they live in a dingy apartment. Or, ooh, look at that nice house. Lance is rich, right? So people are getting like, I know some people will set up their Zoom calls in front of their bookshelf so they look really smart, right?
Right.
In fact, our friend Jeffrey Gittimore, he admits that. He goes, "Oh yeah, I do it in front of my bookshelf. I look smarter," you know. So it's kind of funny, just like in COVID, we're getting judged by the quality of our mask. We're also getting judged by the quality of our Zoom or whatever video we're using, the background.
Yeah.
So really nice for you to be like inventing this product pre-COVID. You're looking like you knew it was coming or something, right?
Yeah, it looks a little sketchy, doesn't it?
I know. And so you invented this product, and I have it behind me. It's so easy to use. I am not engineering, mechanical, handy at all. I think I'm like anti-handy. I break things and I can't fix them. So, but it's got a really cool stand, very easy to set up everything, and you just hang it. And there's my background, right? And so it's great branding for the company, and it makes you look more professional as well. And I got to tell you, it's very affordable, right?
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's what I hope. It's always difficult when you're on the making end of things to figure out where does the value fall in line with the economy and all of that sort of thing. And so we've worked really, really hard to make it as affordable as possible, but also realizing it's a premium product. The other ways to solve this solution are actually quite a bit cheaper, right? You could just turn your back to a blank wall in your house. It's not going to look very good, but you could do that, right? You could do the virtual background in Zoom. And if you don't mind that your fingers somewhat disappear when you gesture like I always do, or if you don't mind that it looks like, you've got some kind of weird halo going on, that's a great way to do things. And a lot of times, if you've got something that's not important, you're not trying to close some big deal or whatever, yeah, use the fun virtual backgrounds. That's great. But for me, it was like when I'm going to be going into a big meeting with somebody, I'm at my house. This was back before COVID, so I thought I was the only one. I want to look good. I want to go into this thing knowing that I feel good about who I am and what I'm about to present. So that was sort of like the core of what I was trying to do.
When was that?
When I started this thing?
Yeah, anyway.
October 2018.
Okay.
So when I ordered my first 3D printer.
Okay. So coming up on 2 years.
Yep.
And you're bootstrapping it. I read in your bio, you're bootstrapping it, and with your family, right?
Yeah.
And so tell us about that. I mean, especially once again, COVID, families are spending a lot of time together. So instead of watching Netflix and sleeping in, I mean, you got the kids working.
So yeah, our family we like to say we're unique. Some people might say we're weird. So we have always spent a ton of time together. So My wife has her master's degree in education. We decided way back in the day we were going to homeschool our kids, which already makes us weird. Mm-hmm. We then have our own business from home. So we have been working and schooling from home for the last 9.5 years. We started in 2011 with the business. And we've also traveled we've RV'd around the country while we worked and schooled. So we're always all together. We call ourselves the family blob. So because we're just always hanging out together. We love hanging out together. So when we came up with this idea, my family was super encouraging. They always are. And they're like cheering me on. And then when we started to get real about maybe we should try to turn this into a real business, everybody said, let us in, we'll help. So my kids are 19, Ellie is 19, Micah is 17, and Anna is 12. My wife and I have been married 25 years. Everybody gets to be a part of this. Like Anna's doing the sewing, Ellie's sewing, Micah's actually assembling the aluminum tubings, packing, shipping, handling chats, so everybody's involved. And it's just so much fun because, we like being together already. So this has been, apart from the world falling apart with COVID, it didn't really affect us personally. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just kind of business as usual, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We actually had more spaces because we had that space to go to for Anyvoo rather than just being at home, which we were used to.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you think about it, you quote unquote call yourself weird. But, honestly, 100 plus years ago, that's the way a lot of families lived, right? They did the schooling in the house and they did the working around the house, right? So, so you're more traditional than
It
anybody else.
could be.
Maybe we're weird, right? The other people are weird.
That's funny.
What I love about what you're doing, so obviously I ordered a product. Once again, our mutual friend Jeffrey Gittimore told me about it, and I connected with you. And what I loved about the experience was, you brought me along the journey. Like as the product is being made, I would get an email like, "Hey, we're starting to sew," and not only would you tell me that, I would get a video of your daughter saying hello, and you're with her saying, "Hey, David, we just started to sew your product. We'll be done soon, and it'll be in the mail to you." I mean, I don't know if you could do that if you start doing like 100,000 a day. But at this point, man, I loved it. It was like, you actually said my name, my product was there. Like, how much more personal can you get, right? And
Yeah,
then
that's
when
cool.
it shipped, there was another video that was personal. And then you sent me another video, more generic yet still very helpful, about how to put the damn thing together, which really isn't that hard, but just in case for dummies like me. And I actually did watch the video and I just followed you step by step and voila, I did it. That was very
There you go. Nice. It's been fun, in that part of that process, building videos. So basically it's been my hope that eventually I could have a video answering every single question that somebody would ever think to ask me for AnyVoo. So as people have asked questions, I spin up my video setup and try to record an answer, try to be as visible as possible. And it's been really fun because it also makes it feel real personal. So that's been a nice upside to that.
Yeah. So you're very big on video, which I love. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because I love to talk. And so it's like a free way to just get to talk.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You consistently get your 15 minutes of fame, right?
Exactly.
So now are you still running Nectify as well? Are you still doing both companies?
We are. Yeah. So with Nectify, it's always been my goal when I do stuff or create stuff, I always want to bring people along with me in the journey. And so with Nectify, we've always hired people that are amazing and better than me at all the things that they do. So there's no reason for me to like hover over them or like tell them what to do because they're better at it than me. Mm-hmm. So that happened all the way through the organization. And I actually found one of our team members, Henry, who actually has great skill in running business, and he runs Nectify. I do a little bit of the sales. That's also what freed me up again to focus on AnyVoo. So Nectify's doing great. We're a growth content marketing company that we work with, we call it Brainiac B2B companies. So basically for anybody who sells B2B and they think, oh, nobody could ever write about my industry, we could do that. So that's like the target audience for Nectify, and it's a lot of fun, but they're doing great. I've got over on my other screen here, I've got my Slack pulled up. So everybody from Nectify is over there talking and taking care of business for the day, and they handle everything. They don't need a babysitter. They're good at what they do.
Well, listen, I believe John Maxwell said, great leaders create more leaders, right? So, and I love the fact that you said, you hire people that are smarter than you. And I think that's another thing that great entrepreneurs do, right? There's a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. So you've got that, right?
There you go. Nice. I like to think that the bar is pretty low for me, though. I mean, my people are great, but it's not like I'm a genius at anything. So I just try to find people better than me.
I know what you mean. I know my previous company, we had about 15 people. It was a magazine. And, I would tell people, I'm like, listen, I'm not that smart. I just work really hard. You guys are way smarter than me,
Exactly. You were just willing to roll the dice a little bit and jump in.
Just like a mule, right? They work hard. They're not that smart. I'm like,
You could argue that us entrepreneurs, or we entrepreneurs, are maybe not quite as sharp as most people because we jump in when other people are a little afraid, right? So.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're the mad scientists of that, let's just see what happens, right? Yeah.
Exactly. What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. So working with your family. Now, you said you already love each other all the time, which is fantastic. But behind the curtain, or should I say behind the AnyVoo.
Behind the AnyVoo.
You guys ever just, flip out on each other, have some good squabbles going on?
Let me see.
Are your kids fun? Hey, there.
Okay.
Once again, if you're watching this.
Hey, Ellie. So she can't hear because I'm on my headphones, but David wants to know if there are ever any times that we just flip out on each other.
Flip out on each other?
Yeah.
No, sometimes I get a little bit stressed out though, and then I
Come
have
here.
a butthead.
Come here.
Yeah.
Come here. You need to talk to Ellie for a second.
All right, come on, Ellie.
She's
Come
the
on,
real
Ellie.
brains
Just
here.
happen to be walking
Put this on.
behind. Yeah.
There you
Hi,
go.
Ellie. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
You sound fantastic. We're getting to know the company and the family here. And I asked your dad. I said, he painted the picture that you guys are like 24/7 love fest, love being with each other all the time, work together, educate together, everything. And I said, come on, Lance, tell me. I mean, do you guys ever just flip out on each other? So, and then he I said behind the curtain. I said behind the AnyVoo, and then he removed the AnyVoo, and there you are. So give me the real story here. Is it a love fest all the time?
It can get a little bit crazy when we have a lot of orders coming in, but I think we all work hard to understand each other and respect each other. So I do appreciate that about my dad, is that he's always looking to make me better and like to understand me, and he's very respectful of my emotions. So I feel like he does a good job. I can stress out sometimes, so that's just on me.
We want to see that video, Lance. So next time Ellie's flipping out, I want to see that video. All right?
You can make one. It'll be fabulous. I'm very dramatic.
I love it. Well, thank you, Ellie.
Nice.
Appreciate you hopping on the show.
Nice.
Is Ellie the one that does the sewing?
Ellie's my 19-year-old. She does everything, but we're trying not to be too dependent on her because she's going full-time to school in the fall. So if they have college in the fall.
If they have college. Where's she going?
Upstate in South Carolina. So it's a college about 50 minutes from our house.
Cool. Which one?
It's actually called Upstate. So they actually
it's called Upstate. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the University of South Carolina network.
Gotcha. Well, I'm talking, you said upstate. When you say upstate in New York, you're in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, right? Or above, right?
So our upstate's not as beautiful as your upstate, but it's
you're
pretty.
very nice. And probably not as cold in February. So there's pros and cons, right? So
but a lot hotter in July.
Yes, I know. Yeah, you want to come here. You want to come here in July, right? So
there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So being an entrepreneur, a lot of challenges. What are some things that you do personally to just keep it all together? I mean, you're working with your family all the time, and just working in general as an entrepreneur could be stressful. Are there some habits, some things that you do on a regular basis just to make sure that you're in your happy place as you grow your companies?
It's a great question. So for one thing, I've of late, maybe the last 3-4 years, started to become aware of when I feel tension. So I've never been a great evaluator of what I feel. Like you just kind of do, and you don't think, what am I feeling right now? I haven't turned into like a super sensitive person necessarily, but I have become aware, like when I have that tightness in my chest, that feeling like a little bit of panic, to just sort of identify that that's going on, and then just ask a couple of questions of myself. So like, number one, what's the worst that could happen? That's a good question. Not always a good one to ask, but it's usually a good question.
Yeah.
And then
if the answer is I could die, then you don't do it, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, even death's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's, so I ask stuff like that. And then I just step back and go, okay, let's just take a deep breath and remember, like, this isn't a make or break it deal. And I know that sounds crazy because it's a business, right? That my family depends on and a lot of people depend on. But I think most of the time we create bigger dramas in our mind than really exist. There's a propensity of humans. We want to have drama. We need the big narrative. And so I think every time something happens, we begin to tell like this, maybe subconsciously, we're telling this big dramatic story of all of the things that are going to go wrong now. But life's not quite that adventurous a lot of the time.
Right. I agree with you. Well, you just seem like you were born with some extra serotonin in your brain too.
Probably. I mean, who knows? I'm not always chill. Like yesterday, Ellie could tell you, she can't hear you talking or she'd chime in, but yesterday I messed some stuff up here at AnyVoo, and I get frustrated with myself when I'm sloppy, and then I cost myself time. It creates a bad experience for other people, but I can be pretty demanding of myself. So I have to be careful, like kind of where my brain is at any given moment.
See, we want to see these videos, Lance. We want to see everything, right?
Yeah, the ugly videos.
So Lance, I want to give you a plug here, and you're giving my Avanti family a great discount, right? So once again, if you're watching this on YouTube, or just go to anyvoo.com, ANYVOO, just like it sounds, you could see what we're talking about, right? You could see, the backgrounds that he makes. Now, if you do go to the website, do /Avanti. So anyvoo.com// whatever it is.
Whichever
Avanti.
slash.
What's that?
Whichever slash. I don't
Whatever
know which one
slash.
it is either.
Whatever slash you like. So, and you're going to get a $50 discount, right? So you get free design,
Correct.
which is a $50 value if you put in the /Avanti. So I want to really promote that to everybody. Give it a shot. I mean, what is the average, the current cost of these things is what?
Yeah, so it starts at $249, and then depending on the options you choose, it can go up from there. But $249 is like a stock wood background with a black on the second side. That's one thing that we haven't really talked about is they're double-sided. So you can actually do two separate things on each side. Yeah. But it starts at $249 and goes up from there. And typically we charge $50 if you want us to do the design work. But that's what we're offering you guys for anyvoo.com/Avanti. You get that design work for free. Whereas other people have to pay for it. So we appreciate getting the opportunity to talk with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what's next, Lance? Is there a third company in the horizon, or are you feeling pretty good about the two companies right now?
There are so many things on the horizon, and it changes constantly. So my dream is to basically get better at spinning up new things, finding people who are amazing, trusting them to lead it, and then kind of stepping into the next thing. My hunch is that I find problems in what I'm doing now, and that triggers like my next thing of what I want to try to take on. So right now I'm thinking some things around logistics. I'm thinking things around packaging, because these are problems obviously that we've faced with Anyvoo. There's also, this is completely unrelated, and this is a terrible time to do this. So if the economy ever comes back, I want to sell fountain pens in a retail environment.
Okay.
That may not be a good idea, but that's what I want to do.
Well, you might want to just focus on maxing out Anyvoo first, and then, maybe if you make a lot of money, you could try that, right?
There you go. Maybe we'll manufacture fountain pens out of recycled Anyvoos.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. All right, Ellie. I think Ellie is she's giving you the eye roll back there. So yeah,
exactly. She's used to hearing all this crazy stuff.
Very good. Well, Lance, hey, thank you so much for joining me today. Truly appreciate it. You are the epitome, the definition of just a incredible startup entrepreneur that not only is making a great product, but making it fun, having fun with your family, and having fun with the process. And I love it. And once again, everybody, check them out. Anyvoo.com, anyvoo.com/Avanti. Get that $50 discount to the free design. But even if you just go to their site, click on their videos. That's what sold me right away too. I'm like, this guy's fun. The family's fun, and it's a way to stand out, right?
Yeah.
Way to stand out in the sea of sameness today. I mean, as I mentioned before, you sent me a personal video. Hey, David, we're sewing your Anyvoo. Like when I buy something at Amazon, I don't have Jeff Bezos saying, "Hey, David, we just put your book in the box." Like, that this is not happening, right? Or, I buy something at Walmart, I don't have, Sam Walmart's grandson saying, "Hey, Dave, thanks for buying all that tea at Walmart today. We really appreciate that."
We'd probably get tired of those videos, wouldn't we?
I think so. But I really enjoy the fact that you're finding a way, as I say, to stand out in the sea of sameness in today's very competitive world, right? You find a way to be different, not only involving your family, but making it fun as well. So Lance, hey, if people want to get in touch with you, is the best way to go to the website?
Yeah, you can go to the website. You can email me at lance@anyvoo.com. You can also just call the number that's on the website, 864-362-3550. You can text that number. You can chat on the website. I mean, there's any number of ways.
We could do a lot of different things. I'll send you a video. How about that?
You could drop by.
Yeah, I could drop by. All right. Well, if I'm ever in South Carolina, you're in Piedmont, South Carolina, right?
Yep. Piedmont is a little tiny town just next to Greenville, which is sort of like the big city town in the northwest part of South Carolina.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. You don't have a strong Southern accent, though, have you?
Oh, you don't want to know where I'm from. I'm from everywhere. So Texas,
all right.
Texas, Georgia, Kansas, Boston to South Carolina.
It's Boston. It's Boston, right? So yeah.
I don't have that accent for sure.
No, thank God. Thank God. Love you, Boston people, but I don't know about your accent. Anyway, Lance, thank you. Ellie, thank you so much. Appreciate all that you guys are doing. Thanks for being great entrepreneurs and a great entrepreneurial family. I wish you massive success. Avanti family, if you want to learn more about AnyVoo, once again, anyvoo.com/Avanti. And if you want to hear more great podcasts like this one, I'll say almost as great as this one, go to AvantiEntrepreneur.com. That's our website. Hundreds, I think we're almost up to 200 great interviews now over the past 4 years, and a lot of other content and services there for you too. That's AvantiEntrepreneur.com. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Avanti family. Make it a great day, everybody, and stay awesome.
Thanks, Dave.